Hi guys, great for you to join me again. Let's Talk Health TV, exclusively live, hot off the press. We've just had a fantastic email come through from Pamela Fergusson, a well-renowned dietitian here in Toronto, has her PhD and is one of the greatest candidates that I can interview about a plant-based diet. Follow me, let's go. I guess first and foremost, guys, we'll start with Pamela's story, just so the audience understands who you are, what you do, and what you're all about. So, fire away.
Sure. Well, I'm a registered dietitian. I have a PhD in nutrition. I've been in practice as a dietitian for 15 years, and I eat a vegan diet myself. I've got 4 kids, and I'm raising my family on a plant-based diet. And in my practice, I always encourage my clients to become more plant-based. A lot of my clients are vegan or transitioning to a vegan diet. Right. Some of them are just, maybe introducing like a meatless Monday, starting a little more slowly, and that's all great.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to hear. Have you always been vegan, or what age did that transformation happen?
So I was vegetarian for a long time, like in college, and after that, I didn't become vegan until around 5 years ago. And I think I started to become more aware of the issues with the environment and how much a plant-based diet is so much better for the environment, reducing carbon emissions. And I started to become more aware that I couldn't just look at meat, but I wanted to also look at dairy and eggs in my diet too, and focus on eating more beans, lentils, fruits and veggies, beans, nuts and seeds, and things like that. And so that started me down the path. And then as I became vegan, I also started to become more aware of animal welfare issues, and that really cemented it for me. And now I know that I'll be vegan forever.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to hear. What were some of the noticeable benefits that you did that were really, really evident, in terms of energy levels, sleep patterns?
Sure.
What were some of the things that you really, and then what was the time frame? So from coming off that meat-based into the heavy plant-based diet, what were some of the standout things that you were like, wow, this is really having a positive impact?
Well, I've got to say, I do have a lot of stories of clients who have had a radical transformation in their health, changing from eating an animal-based diet to a plant-based diet, people seeing dramatic reductions in inflammation, even turning around arthritis, regulating blood sugar control, reduction in cholesterol, triglycerides, a lot of really exciting changes. Most people report like increase in energy, those kinds of things. I've got to say I've always been a really healthy person, Luke.
Oh, really?
So
So it wasn't a huge...
It wasn't a huge change for me. It was more driven by ethics for me to make the change. I did want to be making the healthiest choices I could for myself and my family.
Right.
But I always have felt energetic, and I still do now.
Gotcha. So if we were doing a scenario, it would be best to take a guy that's on a diet of McDonald's daily for 3 years, which then drastically him into a plant-based. He's going to obviously notice a different impact to what
That's
what
right. I was probably already eating relatively healthfully even before.
Gotcha.
But what I did was I decided I'm going to try for 30 days. Because, you can kind of do anything for 30 days. I kind of thought I'll give myself this challenge of being vegan for 30 days and see how I feel. And I expected it to be harder than it was. It was actually really easy. I felt great, and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. But what I did was I kept going with being vegan, but for about 6 weeks, I had this thing called Vegetarian Fridays, because for me, the hardest thing to give up was cheese. Specifically cheese pizza.
Oh, yeah.
So I did Vegetarian Fridays, and for a while I was really looking forward to that Friday to get my pizza. And then after a while I realized I hadn't even remembered it, and I thought, okay, I don't need Vegetarian Fridays anymore. And now there's going to be such good vegan cheese options that I can enjoy a vegan pizza once in a while.
Yeah, sounds good. Now you're talking about meatless Mondays for a lot of people that are going through that transformation process. Yes. Is there any other methods or techniques that you would advise the general public out there in regards to limiting animal products in their diet?
Yeah, so one easy tip can be to start with breakfast. So a lot of us already don't consume a lot of animal products at breakfast. So Maybe start with breakfast, start with oatmeal or a green smoothie, that kind of thing. If you're used to starting with like a pastry or an egg sandwich or something, make a switch to a healthier, more high fiber option like oats. Okay. Overnight oats or avocado toast, all these beautiful trendy foods that you can see on Instagram that are super delicious and super healthy for you. Start with breakfast. I think if we start our day in a way that feels healthy, then it's easier to continue along that healthy path in the day. So starting well, start with lots of fruits and veggies, and then you can even then start including lunch as well. Right. Maybe have a vegan lunch. So there's the idea of eating vegan till dinner time, and then in the evening maybe you might still consume some animal products, but slowly start introducing more meat-free options, vegan options in the evening as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Now I did want to touch on, you mentioned avocados there, and I'm a huge avocado fan, and I'm eating a lot of them. Good, they are good fats, and I recognise that. However, too much of a good thing? What's your take on that? They are,
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to always continue to include a variety of fruits and veg, so I don't think it's great to just have avocados as your only source of fruits and veg. Choose other foods as well. If you're living in Canada and you're choosing loads of avocados, you've got to think about the environmental impact too of bringing those avocados in, and so trying to choose some local options too. But sure, you can have an avocado regular, I don't know, 6 a day, and you might want to check in with things like, your cholesterol levels, that kind of thing, and just make sure that you're healthy, your weight's where you want it to be, that kind of thing. Avocados are a very rich food, and so they're definitely something we can enjoy. Make a lovely avocado mousse, with chocolate, that kind of thing, or have it on toast, have it on top of your chili bowl, that kind of thing. But if it's turning into a 6-a-day habit, it might be time to explore other options in the produce.
Which could be the carrot cake smoothie.
It's carrot cake smoothie.
Without the icing?
No icing on the carrot cake
Please
smoothie.
talk more about that. Please talk more about that to the audience, because I mean, especially back in New Zealand, there are carrot cake lovers, and you've got that implemented in your plan, right?
Yeah.
So day 2 was a carrot cake smoothie.
Absolutely.
Without the icing, though.
Yeah, but it tastes very good. So you need a pretty high-powered blender to handle a carrot. I use the mini carrots because they're sweeter. So a nice ripe banana, some almond milk or some coconut milk, some cinnamon, some dates, take the pits out, and some carrots, like just a handful of mini carrots, and just blend that up. Maybe put in some ice cubes.
Oh, nice.
And honestly, it tastes delicious. It really does taste like carrot cake.
Have you got any
You even get that creamy. We'll wait till after the filming, and we'll make you a carrot cake smoothie.
Sounds good. Now, there's a lot of talk about complete proteins. I did want to touch on, obviously, plant-based proteins, but I do want to start with when they say complete protein. What does essentially that mean?
So what that is talking about is proteins are made up of amino acids, and when the amino acids are the building blocks to protein, and when you're eating plant-based foods, most of them don't contain all of the essential amino acids, when a lot of animal products do contain all of them. But that doesn't mean that plant proteins are inferior or that we need to worry about that. We just should, as plant eaters, consume a variety of foods over the day. We don't need to worry about combining proteins within a specific meal or anything. Your body will store those amino acids and be ready to build muscle and tissue in your body throughout the day, or even over a few days, as long as you're eating a variety of foods. And remember that there's protein in everything. We get this idea that, and I really blame MasterChef for this, the show MasterChef, because they're always saying, what's the protein, And there's actually protein in almost every food. Even fruits and vegetables have protein in them. Certainly nuts, seeds, lentils are wonderful sources of protein on a plant-based diet. So whole grains. So as long as you're eating a variety of plant-based foods, you'll get all the protein you need.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. Sounds good.
Oh, hello. Fancy seeing you here. Welcome to the show. Let's Talk Health TV, proudly sponsored by Profi, a fantastic, complete plant-based protein, which is just absolutely fantastic, super delicious, and extremely efficient. Whether or not you're in the corporate world, you need a pre or post gym supplement for that protein intake, this is for you. It is absolutely fantastic. And I just want to showcase how easy it really is. So in there, and then over to the water sink. Guys, full cup of water, easy as that. I have not, to be honest, come across anything that is as simple and easy as this that gives you a complete whole plant-based protein. And then in we go, like that. Guys, super easy, so efficient, doesn't matter. You can take this anywhere, whether or not you're in the corporate world, go to the gym, in your car, providing you got water obviously, but it is just so easy. Whip it up, 20 grams of protein in each one, a whole complete protein, plant-based, and it is just fantastic. Like that, and it tastes good too. That's the best thing about it. It's all about good taste. Start the day with a bang.
And I was doing just some due diligent research, and I came across an article that mentioned that the only, well, maybe not the only vitamin, but a vitamin that is not, or that you cannot consume out of a plant-based diet is vitamin B12.
That's exactly right.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
And how important is vitamin B12?
Vitamin B12 is critically important.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And
so,
you're going to tell me why, hopefully.
Yes. So you absolutely do need to consume vitamin B12. Unfortunately, it will lead to, you'll really start to feel a loss of energy. You might feel confusion, that kind of thing. You need to consume B12. Now, there are some fortified products within the plant-based diet that contain B12. For example, in Canada, our plant-based milks are fortified with B12, about half of your requirement in a day. So if you consume, say, almond milk or soy milk from the store, they'll be fortified with B12, calcium, those kinds of things. So you can get some B12 there. If you like nutritional yeast, which is a lovely, tasty food that vegans tend to love, there's some B12 there. But if you're eating a completely plant-based diet, you really should look to a supplement of B12.
Right.
And that really is the only supplement that I say people on a plant-based diet absolutely should take. There are others that may be of benefit, but that one is kind of a deal breaker. You have to take B12. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very good, very good. I did want to discuss, and back in New Zealand, there's this, and globally, not just New Zealand, but there's this huge thing about the fad diets. You know, the marketing companies get behind it. They push the PR stunt around that. What's your take on, and what are your thoughts around why these fad diets are not sustainable? Is it because they're trying to be a one-size-fits-all approach? What's your view on that?
I think most people can't follow those kinds of fad diets over a long period of time. They may work for a few months or something like that. People get committed to something and try it for a while. But after a while, you start going to social occasions, you go over to a friend's house, and it doesn't work. You need to stay with something that you can maintain over a lifetime. These sustainable changes in your lifestyle. And, I think a plant-based diet is a great example of that. And the wonderful thing about a plant-based diet is when you start choosing more whole foods, your cravings will actually change. And clients often don't believe me about that. They think, oh no, I really crave, like brownies and pastries and all those things, and I can't stop, But if you just start making those changes and start the day with like a carrot cake smoothie rather than an actual carrot cake.
You're going to reference that all the time now, yeah.
Right. You will actually, after even just a week or certainly 2 weeks, you'll start craving those whole foods. And I think that's the way that we need to be thinking. We need to feed our bodies, fuel our bodies with very healthy foods, and we'll start to crave those things. Make changes that we can sustain over the long haul, not something like, oh, I'm going to, eat butter and chicken breasts and steamed broccoli all the time. That it's just like you can't really go over to your mom's house for dinner and think that's what you're gonna get.
No,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you're only craving these things because you're used to it.
I think that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
Once you make that transformation, you're going to start craving those other things. But
Yes.
I thought they're craving more, and as humans, don't we naturally draw to salts and sugars, and And the bad stuff?
Our
why
bodies
is junk
do-
food so popular?
Yes, our bodies do respond to that, and if you keep giving your body a hit of those foods, you will keep craving them. But you don't actually usually feel very good when you have those foods. You crave it, you have it, and then it sort of keeps you going for a while, and then you kind of crash and you want it again. Whereas when you start craving healthier foods, you get that energy boost that lasts for a longer time. You feel so much better, and I think we need to keep checking in with our bodies to see how our food is making us feel. Not just, I crave this, therefore I'm going to have it, but how do we feel afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. Good to hear. Now, you are, I mean, especially in the Toronto market, it is a very saturated market with dietitians and nutritionists. I mean, how are you differentiating? Must be challenging.
Well, I don't know. I never worry about that. I kind of approach life with an abundance mentality. I think that really probably almost everyone in Toronto could benefit from seeing a nutritionist or a dietitian. So I think there are lots of potential clients out there, and I get lots of clients. From the start, I've always promoted myself as vegan, promoted a plant-based diet, and I think new practitioners shouldn't be afraid to do that. Just be confident in yourself, in what you believe in your practice, and share that, and people will be attracted to that, and if that's what they want, they'll come to you. And so I've always believed in that, and it's worked.
Sounds good, very good. Is the ant log a differentiator?
Ants on a log, absolutely. Everyone loves ants on a log. Yeah.
Very good. Pamela, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. All the best,
nice
and
to
good
meet
luck.
you, Luke. Thanks.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
So guys, that's a wrap. Fantastic. Head along to profiprohealth.com and enjoy yourself a complete plant-based protein. Thanks for your time and enjoy.